and become wind. Empty and become wind.
How were you able to control that spirit when no one else could?
As your father could tell you, I've spent my life studying the spirits and learning their ways. All of this knowledge is lost in the South, but I could teach you everything I know.
Revealing the unseen mysteries when everything ain't what it seems. It'll blow your mind outside you seek. You find the realms of possibilities. Connect with the infinite intellect to receive of the positive energy. Reciting the sacred mantras to lift you to higher frequencies. Archives and constellations, star signs. When the planets align, new paradigms and paralyzed. When the visit of the succubus at nighttime. Hypnotized sometimes when the watchers fly to the sunrise. It'll set you free from the unbelief. It'll break your mind from the confines. Spirits leaving, changing seasons. Principalities undefeated over a certain region. Shamanic novice with knowledge. Commune with higher beings with a deeper meaning. The reason Solomonic magic in Jesus was accused of channeling demons. I'm thrown off sort of this portal to the paranormal. Hearing these voices speaking to me when spirit touches immortal. With a knife in my back and I bleed through the scars. As I am, you see through my flaws. Staring at the stars and the rhythm wars. Never open at the doors of the Ouija board.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point, enter the void. This is fractal math, holographically enjoy. Darkness we can't avoid, enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Here. Into the void.
Enter the ritual, step in the temple, connect with the spiritual realm. Metaphysical to the etherical pathways beyond the physical world. You could ascend to the kingdom of heaven or sit and stay living in hell. Mystical with the dark, a lyrical shaman lifting a spell. Witness the miracle, traveling beyond the body, see this is a shell. And you in the third dimensional prism that got us imprisoned in cells. Sit between 4 and 20, yo, the split into 12s. Shh. You can hear them whispering if you listen it well. Came to awaken the ancient of days, man, I stay ringing the bell. Mythical note from the place where the wicked fell back to the kingdom of hell. Blessed with the wisdom performing the exorcism, the sins get expelled. Till we are the demons and angels, balance the energies within yourself. I'm trying to find a path between the light and the dark. I'm writing to spark a link between the mind and the heart. We've gotta unite both sides before they divide us apart. Said we've gotta unite both sides before they divide us apart.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point, enter the void. This is fractal math, holographically enjoy. Darkness we can't avoid, enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Into the void.
Now I'm good with nothing. Why y'all good for nothing? My 100,000 pedal loaders, dopamine over flooded. Stargate runnings, dragons out the dungeon. My Hakali been summoned. Total destruction into a vacuum suction. Conjunction, junction, that's my function. Through a star cluster in a maritime custom. Stellar dust encrusted, I ain't touching your disgusting judgments. We rise above it, enjoying the void. Source of pure joy, no more discussion.
When you get to the South Pole, then what happens?
You will open an ancient spirit portal.
I'm sorry, what now?
At the South Pole, there is a portal that connects our world to the spirit world. But it has long been closed.
And that's why the evil spirits are attacking?
There are no evil spirits. There's light and dark in them all. And when they're unbalanced, the darkness takes over. If you can open the portal in time, balance will be restored.
What do you mean, in time?
There's a reason the Glacier Spirits Festival ends on the winter solstice. And that's when the spirit world and the physical world are close together. Only then can the Avatar open the portal.
The winter solstice is tomorrow.
Exactly. And we can't afford to wait another year.
Traveling the path where the past is destroyed. Arrive at 0 point, enter the void. This is fractal math, holographically enjoy. Darkness we can't avoid, enter the void. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Everything disappear right now, right here. Into the void.
I found true freedom. I am no longer bound to this earth by worldly desires. I have entered the void.
always wait like. Welcome to the void.
Yeah, right?
It's like every time you do the intro, the song, it's like a journey. Like, enter the void. So I see like a wormhole like going through. Ooh.
I love it.
Well, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And for some people, happy Saturday.
Yeah,
We have a global audience, so
that's right.
gotta
Acknowledge that shit.
give homage to the people wherever you are, our magical beings. We appreciate you. So, where are we gonna start?
At the beginning.
At the beginning, there was the word, and the word was Vaughn.
That's what it said.
Word is Vaughn.
Word is bond.
So, before we get into the juicier stuff,
Mm-hmm.
share what happened with you this week, this revelation.
Oh, that's not juicy stuff.
No, I'm saying it's like it's getting juicier and juicier.
All right, deal.
Juicy.
I'll start the sandwich. Okay. So I did a live on Monday just talking about like some of the stuff that I was going through. And what I realized is that it's kind of like a big loop, right? So I ended up being in a loop of suffering. And that loop of suffering started by avoiding suffering. And by avoiding suffering, I actually ended up suffering even more. It's like, don't think about an elephant. And then what do you think about? An elephant. Right?
Isn't that funny? It's funny because like the way you said it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to think about elephant. But
Right.
you're thinking about not thinking about an elephant. So you're thinking, not only you're thinking, you're trying to not think about elephant, but the catch-22 is you're thinking about an elephant.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. That's cray. Cray.
And what was great is that you brought up this point before. It was a really good quote too, but like in essence, it was that like the things that you judge, you actually like become. And I was totally judging suffering. I was like, nah, I don't do that. And I was like deep in it. And
That's what she said, or that's what he said. Sorry.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, well, that's what she said too. She said that too.
Let's just say that's what they said. Now we're totally inclusive, right?
Yeah, right,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what they said.
Include them all.
So by avoiding suffering, I actually ended up going deeper and deeper into it, unwillingly. So that unwillingly kind of made it like magnified it like 100 times. And then I just had this bright idea. What if I actually allowed myself to suffer? Like, what would that be like? So I made the declaration. I was like, all right, I'm just going to allow myself to suffer. You know what? It wasn't that bad.
It was probably less painful than what you thought the suffering would be like, right?
Exactly. And what I ended up realizing is that, you know, for me, the experience was that the way to get through it was to go through it.
Right there. That's it. The simple formula of being able to overcome anything is go there. And we're suffering no matter what. So why not consciously suffer? Because it's just a moment. And just imagines how much stuff or how many things we do to try to avoid suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But suffering is different levels for each person. Like what could be like suffering for you compared to somebody else. So with that said, what was suffering for you?
It was actually kind of non-existent. It was just the idea of suffering. Because like I would hear everybody talk about, oh, quote unquote, the end of suffering, you know, like, oh, that means that there's something that needs to be brought to an end, right? And if I don't bring an end to my suffering, then I'm not as spiritual as you, right?
I love where you go with this.
So suffering was just a concept. It was just an idea of something that I needed to bring an end to. And it ended up just putting me at war with myself.
That's what I asked a question because I'm laughing now.
What?
About like if the suffering, I'm more spiritual than you, type of thing, suffering. Do you feel like, what's it called? Sort of like Orange is the New Black. Suffering is the new wave. Like my shadows are darker than your shadows. I have more shadows than you to work on.
Well, what it is that I was curious, and that's just how I am. Like I got curious, like what are people talking about when they're like the end of suffering? I'm like, oh, there's this thing called suffering that I need to work on and need to like. So I was just like, what is it, and why do I need to bring an end to it? So I just kind of like dove into that. But I dove into that at first from the point of, oh, there's this thing that I need to end. But I didn't even know what it was. And I probably wasn't even like suffering to begin with, but because I got curious, I just brought it on myself.
Remind me of the quote, because that's what Buddha said. I have a shirt that says the Buddha on it. True religion. So that's why I pointed down. But Buddha, because they asked the question of Buddha, what is enlightenment? And he said enlightenment is the end of suffering. So you feel that you may have heard that or heard like other people talking about that type of thing, like I need to end my suffering. And you can look online, there's a lot of people who are chasing enlightenment. And I feel like the way for enlightenment is, because Buddha said the end of suffering.
Honestly, I didn't even hear it from Buddha. I heard it from you.
What? Oh, end of suffering?
Yeah. I was like, what is that?
Great question. You want me to answer it?
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, and this is with all the stuff, even like I think I was talking about it before, like the whole ego death. I got to kill my ego. I got to kill this part of me that's been with me since birth. And for me, what I hear is I got to kill God. And the way that, like for me, the ego reset and also the end of suffering is the ending of the relationship that you have with it. The ending of how the relationship is. But it's not saying like, I'm breaking up with you, this is it, I'm moving on. But it's actually formulating a different relationship with those things, like suffering and even suffering, ego, whatever. But with the suffering portion,
and for those of you who are watching, please feel free to type in the comments what suffering means to you.
Yeah, but what suffering is to me is something that's inevitable. It's like one of those things that are inevitable. Like we're going to experience pain, we're going to experience loss, we're going to experience grief, we're going to experience anger, all these different things that we just experience in life. We're humans. Like situations happen that are out of our control, and we have the choice of how long we want to actually be in those things as well. And like what you did, like you surrender, like, yo, I'm just going into the suffering. And the end of the suffering for you, it's like a catch-22. To end the suffering, you got to end yourself suffering because of the fact you're suffering.
Say that again.
Yeah. To end the suffering, you got to end the illusion that you're suffering. So why something happens in our life and we can feel like you're potentially suffering. And for me, I feel like it's an egoic thing, because life is perfect. Life happens the way it's supposed to happen and whatever aspects of it. But then in this road of our lives, we have things happen to us. Things happen out of our control. Heartache, breakups, people, whatever, doing things that you wouldn't deem worthy, something that you wouldn't do that somebody does to you. Or maybe even just you may have done something in your life that you feel resentment towards. And then you could potentially be suffering from those like relationships that you currently have with those things, because one, you could be judging yourself, you're judging others, you could be angry towards others, whatever it is, compared to just acceptance of the moment, acceptance for everything happening the way it's supposed to happen, and also to get present to what is, so that, oh, I'm suffering because I'm fighting against the moment. So the moment is flowing the way it's supposed to, and you're fighting against the current. Compared to just asking the question, the powerful question, what Michael Beckwith said, what is trying to emerge? What is trying to expand from me? And even for like that whole suffering thing, I still go through it, but it's not as intense as it was before, in which I'll be suffering for days, suffering for weeks, suffering for months, suffering for years. I suffer for a moment. And even the moment might just be a day. It could just be a couple hours. It could be a couple minutes. For me, more recently, my suffering just a couple minutes as on oh, something's happening, and I feel like it's supposed to happen a different way, but it's not supposed to happen a different way. And then I asked that question, that curious question from Michael Beckwith, what is trying to emerge from me in this moment? What is this trying to teach me? What is this current event that's bringing up emotions out of me? What is this trying to teach me about myself? And what is trying to teach me to expand to a deeper awareness with myself and with others? I ask myself those type of questions instead of like, oh, why is this thing happening to me, man? Like, fuck, yo, like, why is this person can't treat me the way that I would treat others? And it's a catch-22. A lot of people say that type of thing.
But that right there, what you just exemplified, like that doesn't register as suffering to me.
Exactly. This is what I said. Suffering for each person is a different ball game based upon our own life experience in our own program and our own experience we have in life. What is suffering for one person is it could be bliss for another person type of thing. Right. It's all different experiences that we have for it. But the thing is, like, acknowledge that, yeah, we all experience some type of suffering in our lives at different levels. It's not like, okay, here are the 10 ways that you can suffer in life. But the essence of suffering is resistance and fighting against what's in the moment right now. That's what I feel. And it can get broken down in so many infinite ways because we all are having different moments right now. Got it.
So the end of suffering is allowing it.
Pretty much. The end of anything is, let's think about that. What's the end of the war? Or the end of anything, like any conflict? The end of it is the end of it. Like, stop it. Stop fighting. Like, oh, how's the end of fighting? Stop fighting. How can we end hate? Stop hating each other. It's like, it's simple. It's a simple way. You just gotta end it. End it. What is the opposite of what you're doing right now? Do it.
Okay. What else?
What? That was pretty good. Good 18-minute tangent.
Good.
We got to where you're going. We were just talking about what we did or what's been transpiring for us this week. So you mentioned that. Is there anything else for you that you cover this week?
That what?
That unraveled for you this week.
Yeah. What's funny is I had a conversation today about my relationship with food, and it ended up like opening up a whole bunch of stuff. Like it's actually a whole bunch of stuff around judgment. So it looks like I dove into judgment today, but it was like, just like with suffering, I realized that it was a portal, that you go through, and there is an end to that portal, right? You come out on the other side. So it was the same thing with judgment. I found that just looking at my relationship with food, like, oh, I'm supposed to know what to do, in terms of my nutrition and stuff like that, because I'm trained in that and yada, yada, yada. And what I came to the point where I was like, yo, even if I can do this, I don't want to do it for myself because I just want help. I would love to have a nutritionist and have assistance and do it that way. And so I did. But the conversation today really had me get present to the fact that my relationship with food is also my relationship to a lot of things. So it's like, oh, well, maybe I even though I've done a lot of things with like marketing and branding, maybe I'd still like some help with my own. Like I don't have to know everything. So I'm really just like diving into that too. I got a personal trainer. That feels really good. Yeah, I could totally like personal train myself, but I don't want to. I want the help. I actually want to make it easy for myself, and I'll allow that in instead of suffering.
Yeah. It is funny because I'm bringing awareness, and of course we've been together for 6 years, and just how before you would try to do everything by yourself, like everybody, and then like the story you had before was like, I do everything because nobody else is going to do it or whatever. So I want to make sure that you want to make sure things are done, and it's very interesting because I just thought of like a story just to think about that. And let's say like a construction person, like a person who can build buildings, like people who knows like the stuff on how to build a building, like all the parts and all the labor and all the things that they have to do to like put it together. And the person knows how to do it. Like one person knows how to do it. Now just imagine if a construction company who's like, there's one person's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna build this house for you. Yeah, I'm gonna build this building. And I'm pretty sure like how long would it take? Probably like a while, like years to get that done. Compared to actually this person with other people on the team that knows how to do the same thing and collectively working together to make that building. How long would it take? Probably a couple months or so. I don't know, I'm not an architect, but the moral of it is it's so much more effortless to do things, even though you know how to do everything. But allowing others to help you to be able to do those things, it makes it more effortless. And also now you have more time to do the things you want. And that's what I was talking about. Like for me, I was like, I like to show up. I like to do the things I like to do, like show up. And I'm willing to hire people to do the things I don't want to do, even though I can do them. But it's like, do I really want to do it? It's my highest excitement. And just imagine like a team of everybody doing things at their highest excitement compared to like you doing these things because you feel like you need to do it. And it's like, it's the abundance type of thing.
Right. And there's another point that I was getting from what you were saying, and that is that for those of you who are familiar with architecture, like architects don't build. Architects have their own function and their own purpose, and that's to design it. And architects aren't project managers. They're not out on the site delegating to the construction people either. That's another function and another job for a person to have. So I like to be the architect.
You like to delegate now?
I just said the architects don't delegate.
I mean, like, so like, let's say architect, you know what you want to design, and having a conversation about what you want to design with people who can actually bring the design to fruition. Like, oh yeah, this part, this.
Right.
It's a different ball game, right?
It is a very different ball game.
How's it feel now for you to step out where you stepped in or you were before into the paradigm where you're at right now?
Well, to be honest, I'm actually still in transition because right now I'm in the delegating seat, and that's still not my job. So either that gets shared or it doesn't get done. And you know what? After my experiment with suffering, I'm willing to allow it to not get done if I get really uncomfortable and really like in a place where I have to draw a boundary. And I'm just going to allow myself to go there. But for right now, I'm doing what I can, and I'm making it as easy as I can for myself. And when I get to that place, or if I get to that place, then I'll have to make a decision. But that was something that I didn't make available to myself before. I was like, it has to get done. But now I'm like, if it doesn't get done, it's not on me.
Remember how you used to before put all of it on you?
Right.
So if it didn't get successful or didn't work, you would put the full onus on yourself.
Totally.
I'm pretty sure it can resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah. We were talking about that before too. Like there was a program that I was signed up for, and I started to resonate with it in the way that it seemed like they were out to save the world.
From a segue.
I was like, I'm not down with that party. Like I got plenty going on over here that I can, be okay with. And actually, like, the world is working the way that it's working in the moment. Like, I don't feel like I'm not on a crusade.
But there's a lot of people who are right now, and we're gonna get into it. So I like what you said, the saving the world thing.
Yeah. And
it's a mindset that I see a lot happening out there. Of people trying to save the world. Great, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I hear where you're coming from. But my question is, like, why try to save the world with your beliefs and try to force your beliefs onto other people who may not be resonating with it? It's sort of like I'm trying to screw a flathead. I'm trying to screw a flathead screwdriver with a Phillips head.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna force this Phillips head in the flathead, and like I'm gonna get you to do it. And the thing about it, it's monumental, and for my own journey too, I used to do that, like, especially when I have a profound thing that happened in my life, profound revelation. So like when I was like fully in the religion aspect, and like I got, as the Christian term says, saved. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta force everybody to do this type of thing. And my crusade at the time was like, I gotta help as many people as possible to not go to hell. But in the process of me doing that, I would judge people if they weren't believing the same thing I was believing in the moment. And in that crusade, it got interesting because my revelation was my crusade is my own crusade. It's pretty much like the plane's going down, and the first person you save is yourself. The first person you work through is yourself. And I came to this revelation now that that's enough.
It is.
Like, because embodiment and being what you are trying to do for others, and you actually embody it, it resonates so much to a point that people get to feel it. People get to see it. I don't even need to try to explain to you that, oh my God, like this is so amazing and stuff. It's like I'm being that. And also I'm being it so much that I'm okay, like whether or not you want to have that conversation about it or not. I'm not going to say like, listen, this is how I used to be. Like, listen, man, you can't be watching that porn, man. That porn's gonna take you right to hell. Porn is bad. Can't be doing it, man. Can't be smoking that weed, man. Weed is bad for you. It opens up the portal. And like, I'm saying it kiddingly, but also like I'm saying it because like I was so embodied in this belief. And even when I first did the plant medicine thing, like I was on a crusade about that. Oh my God, you gotta take the plant medicine. You gotta do this, man. This is the only way you're gonna be able to do it. This is the only way you're gonna be able to save your life. You gotta do this thing. This is the only way you're gonna make this 180 in your life or whatever. And it's because like, oh yeah, it worked for me. Like shit, like if it worked for me, it's gonna work for anybody. That's what I thought before. But as I'm observing, there's people who are still doing it, and yeah. And my philosophy is, if something's not working, maybe make a shift and do something differently for it. And it took for me to really start to integrate, really start to embody. And what I've been doing recently now is I just been picking up the pieces for my life experience up to this moment and starts to integrate it. So the religion aspect, the plant medicine aspect, and now my meditation, but it's a combination of all these things because people say all the time, and I truly believe it, all the tools that you have for wherever you're looking to go is right here in front of you. Your tools for your own self-evolution and to really find your purpose and find who you are and to embody that and to integrate and to share with the world in that powerful, unique way. It all starts with you going back, going deep within and going to really resolve and heal those experiences that you had, so you can be able to see those things as a tool to bring those pieces of yourself back into this present moment on a higher vibrational standpoint compared to like the suffering that we were talking about, or even going back to these moments and feeling the trauma, the emotions. And it takes work, but it's great work because no matter what, you're going through some shit. So why not like go into that shit and shift that shit?
Right. So the way that I'm feeling like called to shift things in the moment is that, especially like in with like work and stuff like that, I'm maintaining the vibration that it's all going to work out and it's all going to be just fine. I'm not going in with the worry. I'm not going in with the stress. I'm going in with a sense of humor. I'm going in with lightheartedness. I'm going in with allowing the situation to be how it is and not feeling like I have to fix it. There's nothing to fix. Everything's actually okay. So that's my internal work. That's my contribution too. That's a contribution to really like stand in that vibration for a team or stand in that vibration for a partnership or a relationship.
Yeah. And that's a monumental thing. It's not being preached out there as much, which is like, it's mind-boggling, but also it makes sense. You gotta like market a different way. You gotta market a certain way to keep people contained or whatever, and which like all the solutions and all these stuff is external for you. If you're looking for more love, go find that partner of your dreams who's going to make you complete. If you don't feel so good about yourself, go get this car or whatever this thing is to make you feel like you're the machismo out there. Oh, if you feel insecure about yourself, oh, just have multiple women, or we're gonna get there today. Oh, go sleep with multiple women so you feel like the man, or vice versa. But like, it's all within, and it's the craziest thing. Like, if you really just simplify and look at it, it's like I'm going for this external thing to make me feel something internal.
That doesn't work.
But it's like
I'm gonna go to Burger King to get McDonald's.
Hell yeah.
That doesn't.
Hell yeah. I get a Big Mac Whopper. Like, yeah, it's interesting, and like going within and handling your stuff handles everything else. I know because I've been doing it, and it's been working wonders of just being with yourself. And just imagine that it's very interesting because like a lot of us, and even myself before, we're trying to make somebody else accept us fully for how we are, but we're not even accepting ourselves fully for how we are. Like, what's the concept of that? Like, really understand, like really think about that. It's like, I want you to accept me for how I am fully, but I don't even accept myself fully for how I am, but I want you to do it.
Maybe the person wants, this is me just making up a situation, playing devil's advocate or whatever.
Yeah.
What if the person doesn't know how and they need you to show them, or they're asking you to show them?
That's when we have a conversation and I'll show them. But
ooh, we got comments too.
But yeah, but it's very interesting. It's very like easy to start it, but then it's going to potentially get intense. But it's like, how long are you willing to like go through those moments? It's just moments of that intense stuff to be able to step out and be more accepting. Just imagine going into a relationship, going into a business venture, going to whatever you're going into, and you're taking care of yourself internally. You're feeling good. You don't need to like try to get validation. You don't need to, whatever it may be. You just show up. You just show up how you are, and you're good.
Yeah.
And take care of yourself. And I know there's like a lot of us out there who we have those childhood traumas and things like that. And the cool thing about it is, and this is awareness I brought for myself, and I welcome people who are open to doing this too, is like, be the parent, the friend, or whatever for yourself that you needed in those moments. Instead of looking at those moments in a way of still being in that emotional part of whatever those emotions are you're feeling, like anger, anything besides love, understanding, compassion, acceptance. but being able to be with that part of yourself as that friend, that parent, whatever you need to be for that person in the moment is monumental, because then that part starts to trust, is no longer stuck into the loop. And that's pretty much suffering too, the purgatory. For me, I feel that there's parts of us that stuck in emotional purgatory in these moments of what was happening. And what happens in the present moment is something's going to remind you of that part. And it's sort of like that part of you is like in an emotional purgatory jail, like, hey, free me, help. And but going back there and being that person, that pretty much the crusade. If you want to do the crusade to integrate those parts of yourself that's stuck in those emotional traumas from before, and being able to resolve that, and also be able to allow that part of yourself to be heard, be able to say those things that they wanted to say in the moment. Maybe you did say something and somebody told you like, no, that's not right, that's not true, whatever like that. Validate that part of you that had those emotions and be with that part of you and see what happens. No matter what, we are having opportunities to be able to go to those parts of ourselves. And for those like, I don't know where to start, think about the last time you've been like triggered by something.
Let's talk about that in just a second. Let me read these comments first. Juju, hey Juju. Juju says, gotta go deep within to bring up and out that purpose. It's buried within like a hidden treasure. She says, yes, gotta laugh and giggle. It is a must. And Juju says, if I'm going to show someone because they don't know how, well, they better watch closely, because in life there are no reruns. It's interesting, because there's a couple of different phrases that I've heard, and we were just talking about contradictions in spiritual teachings earlier. And one of them is that, life is going to show you a lesson until you learn it. So it's like, in that case, there are reruns, but then at the same time, like life is happening now. And if you miss it in the now, then, that was the only time that it was going to occur like that. So that's really cool that you bring that up, because that's something like to ruminate on. Oh shit. Ruminate? Sorry. Real-time breakthrough. So thank you for bringing that up, because that's super important as well. So you were talking about like knowing, and what were you saying about knowing?
Knowing.
Okay. Trains left at station. I'm just gonna bring in the point that I was gonna bring in.
Pretty much.
And that's, we were having a conversation about like, well, what do you do if you don't know? And then Del was saying, oh, well, there's a part of you that does know. So, allow that part of you to, to inform you, right? And then I was experimenting with it. I was like, well, for me, it kind of like had this like anchor point, right? If I say I don't know, then that's me accepting where I am in the moment. And by me saying that I don't know, I felt like it opened up a space for me to know. So by saying I don't know, it was kind of like a contradiction. It allowed me the opportunity to know. And I tried it with something else again this morning. I was like, there was something that I didn't really like have 100%. And I was like, what if I just go right into knowing? Does that work? And I don't remember if it did or it didn't, which could be a thing, which could mean that it did happen in the moment. So maybe both of them works for me. And of course, this is my experience. What goes on for you?
About I don't know, and I do know. Pretty much what you explained, that there's a part of me that does know, and right now the part of me that doesn't know is here and is present. I have my awareness and my connection focus on this. It's like the radio dial, like I was talking about before. So the radio dial station right now is on the station of I don't know.fm. And the acceptance part, that's exactly what I meant, accepting it. There's different levels of anything that we say. It's sort of like, I'm angry. I'm experiencing anger in this moment. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, oh fuck, like shit. I don't know. I just don't fucking know. And I don't know right now in this moment. Right now, I don't know. Interesting. I know there's a part of me that does know. And I give myself permission to connect to that part of me that does know. Because that part of me that does know is infinite solutions. And I connect to it now. And just allow it. And what happens, because I do it all the time, is I'll start to get like intuitive nudge or insight or a vision, or maybe even I just walk around and something happens later on in the day. I'm not trying to force the solution to come to me now, because it's not going to come.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing about like this universal force. When you try to force it to come, saying
like constipation.
Yeah. It may come. It may come, and it's like a little turd that comes. But when you allow it to show up for you in the way it's meant to show up, it's not only the solution that you were looking for shows up, but maybe even a higher level, like craziness. Because like, can you just imagine, like, for your own little self thinking, our own little self, I mean like our human mind, thinking about the solution and trying to figure out a solution, compared to like, listen, I know there's a part of me that knows the solution out there. And what I meant by that is each and every one of us having that source creator DNA within us. So connecting to that part of us and allowing that to show us the answer, and then some. And it's monumental shit that goes on.
Totally. We got a comment here. It says, I know what I know, and I know what I don't know is more than what I know. Absolutely. And we don't know what we don't know.
Love you too, Garrett.
Yes. Thank you, Garrett. Juju says, sometimes I say I don't know so that I don't engage in the conversation. Sometimes I say that I don't know because I really don't know. However, that lets me know that I need to find out because I don't know, so that I get to know. Do you know what I mean? I do, actually. Yeah, sometimes I don't know can be like an aversion, to like avoid being there, and being present to what's going on.
I like the fact, because that happens, and it's like if somebody asks a question and like you really don't know, and what could happen, and I did it before, is when you talk out your ass type of thing, because you're like, oh, I want to make sure that I look at an authority, so I want to give the answer to this person. And what I do now and do more of is, when somebody does ask me a question like that, I say, I honestly right now I don't know, but I give myself permission to find or allow the solution to show up for me. Or even for the person asking the question, I will ask them a question to go deeper into it. So it's sort of like the reason why they're asking this, or maybe there's the answer's already in front of them. Like, tell me more about it. And usually what happens is when somebody tells you more about the reason why they're looking for it, the answer just shows up when they're talking. But for me, surrendering in that conversation, like, I don't know right now. Right. That's a great question. I don't know. But tell me more about it. It's like the co-creation and also being authentic. Then usually, universe, the answer just shows up. Oh, it was right there in front of me.
Right.
I just got present to it.
Yeah.
Dang, these guys are shifting now.
What happened?
I know we all get them. The calls for the car warranty and stuff like that. Now they went from the car, and now they're talking about home warranty.
Ooh.
Dang.
It's an evolution.
I was having a conversation with my friend. It wasn't about the warranty thing. It was this other thing that was going on when people were calling. It was scammers. They would call and they would say, we have your name and information on file with us. You need to call us immediately to talk about arrangements.
Yeah.
So sort of like that. And I told him, I was like, I just felt like having fun one day. So I gave a call to them, to the company, and they did the whole normal thing, like dispute, like talk to the collection company. This call may be monitored. This is an attempt to collect the debt and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want to let you know that is being recorded. So I said, great, thanks for letting me know that. I also want to let you know that I had a conversation with the FBI because I just kept getting these scam calls. And they told me to just record the call so that way they can be able to just take down the information and be able to reach out to these people who are trying to scam me. So I just want to let you know also that this call is recorded. As soon as I said that, boop, person hung up.
That's genius.
Yeah. But like this thing about that too, like the whole, like the scam things like that, like the fear,
Yeah.
fear, putting the fear into you to make you do things a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of punishment, the fear of internal damnation, the fear, all these fears for for us to act a certain way.
Yeah.
And let's talk about now the fear of what's happening in the globe, in the world right now, the fear that's getting engulfed in us. And I mean, it's happening, it's a real thing, but it's interesting because you can feel the fear that's happening.
Yeah.
But also you can see so many more people awakening now and really starting to unravel and starting to see the truth, more of the truth of what's happening.
Right.
But then on a bigger standpoint for me is like I see the truth in like every different thing.
Mm-hmm.
People have the right to be what they are as well.
Totally. That's like they'd say the difference between Christianity and spirituality. They say that Christians are afraid to go to hell, but people who are spiritual have been there, and they're back to tell the story.
But like even now, it's like I would say some of us, but I say all of us have been or even went through our own personal hell.
Mm-hmm.
But some of us are aware of it, and some of us are not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us think that it's external and something that happens outside, but then it's like the bigger tormentor. I said it before. The biggest tormentor that we have in our life is ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We could be our biggest angel, biggest supporter. We could be our biggest devil. It's just an illusion that is this external thing or someone else that's tormenting us or punishing us.
Isn't it an illusion that there is another?
What do you mean?
Aren't we all one?
Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now you can see that I'm here, you're here.
Mm-hmm. But that's only because you call yourself Del and I call myself Caillou.
In this physical form, in this reality,
Mm-hmm.
you're right here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm right here. Whoever's listening, they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of us that's connected,
Mm-hmm.
in which we all are one, but there's also, we all are having a unique expression of that one, of us all being connected together, that is uniquely expressing itself through us on whatever situation is going on. But there is an opportunity in which when we collectively are present to each other in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
we get to see each other as that one feature. It's like, I don't see you as a light-skinned, dreaded person.
Mm-hmm.
I see me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I see me, it's that divine essence that's within me is within you. So I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I see me. That's how I feel about it.
Mhm.
Because it's like, we all are one thing, and we'll all just be walking together and doing everything together. But there's that divine universal intelligence that's all this shit and then some. And we have we have a choice of whether or not we want to connect to that and have a relationship with that allows us to have a deeper relationship with the other forms of expression of it. It's infinite.
Got it. So to wrap that all up, you said we are and we aren't.
That's how I felt. It's like we are, or then we aren't type of thing. Because if that's the case, then like Can you imagine? No, just imagine like if we like it's like a physical we all are one, like we're all one type of thing. So let's say like I'm in the bathroom and I pick my nose or something.
Mhm.
So I come out, so we're all one like, oh, how's that nose picking that you just had?
Mhm.
Or how's that nose? Matter of fact, like how's that nose picking that we had?
Right.
Like, oh, our butt itches.
Yes, ourselves.
Hey, Laura. Yeah, just it's because I would always think it should be like a mantra, like we all are one, we all are one. It's a beautiful mantra. I mean, and it's true, we all are one, and it's like those things and all those teachings that are out there that says these things like we're all connected, we are divine beings,
Mhm.
you are the child of God, and like all these different stuff. Beautiful words,
Mhm.
beautiful words, and beautiful teachings to like look at. But it's a different level when you start to embody it, because then you get to see like what those teachings were. And like for me right now, I've been diving into the teachings of Jesus,
Mhm.
because Jesus teaches even 2,000 years ago, people are still not like catching it, because it was just such a frequency that he was coming at that like you have to be up there to like really start to understand it and really allow yourself. It's a journey. It's like subtle words, but then when you really start to make that declaration, start embodying what you are listening to or what you're reading, it's a journey, because then in that journey, it's going to bring those stuff out of you that's stopping you from really being able to embody it.
Mhm.
So that's what I've been doing, and like it's like just profound, and that's what I was saying, like being able to integrate both stuff of it, but it's all leading to the same destination, and that's going within, loving yourself completely, loving yourself and accepting yourself for who you are, loving and accepting all your experiences that happen up to this moment because they happen the way it's supposed to, and also recognizing the fact of like all the tools that you need for your evolution in your life is already within you. And like Juju said, it's a treasure hunt.
Mhm.
So it's a treasure hunt, you're going in there, but then like all these stuff come up to make some resolutions, to make some love, and these parts of you that wants to come back and integrate with you, and you start integrating and get deeper and deeper into it. But then what just happens is naturally is a fact like everything else starts to shift, your relationships with everything else, and you start to see people for who they truly are, but also that compassionate when like we're on our own journey and things like that. But it's very interesting and it's pretty fun. That's what I've been doing. I'm on this fun wave. It's a pretty fun wave. But I realized that like the first step is like you gotta go within. It's something we haven't been taught. Can you imagine like us as kids being taught that? And speak about that, I'm actually grateful because I got an email from Jaden's school that said they're teaching the kids meditation. So I'm like, ooh. So now I haven't even said anything. It just happened. But like these type of situations out there, because for all this environmental stress and things that are happening,
Mhm.
people need to like find ways of being able to be with themselves
Mhm.
in a productive way.
Mhm.
So that's why meditation, because meditation, just being with yourself in the moment, and not in a way of like forcing yourself to be with yourself, but just be with yourself and be okay. It's sort of like just observing. It's like a sky. They're looking at the sky and the clouds, but then it's like you're laying down or whatever you're doing, and you're observing yourself. Hey, we didn't get into what we're going to get into.
Which is?
Huh?
Which is?
Stuff that I've been observing this week.
Okay.
And that's to bring into context for people out there. And I'm sure it's going to resonate with a lot of people. And it's just what I've been embodying for myself. So what I was doing before was I was trying to make sure that I was being a good spiritual person. So by me being a good spiritual person, I wanted to make sure that I kept my vibration high. I didn't want to lower my vibration by doing things or being in situations and stuff like that that's going to lower my vibration. I put in quotations, and like you mentioned before, is that when you think about something, no matter what, it's going to start to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But what exactly is lowering my vibration?
Yeah.
So I came to this realization because I'm like, listen, like I'm forcing myself to be something other than myself because I deem that that's a good thing to do. And I don't want to be in a situation I'm going to get punished or my vibration get lower and I'm going to start attracting lower vibrational things out there.
Mm-hmm.
But deep down, what I realized, like, I've been taking on other people's way of spirituality
Mm-hmm.
and trying to make myself obey these things and not be myself. And what I realized for myself, the most natural thing of doing is to just be yourself and flow in the moments. And who am I? I like to meditate sometimes. I like to do my practices, but I also like to do some ratchetness sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to watch the stuff on TV. I like to connect with people. I like to hear how other people believe things the way they're believing right now in a place of curiosity and not trying to judge and actually have a conversation with them. And also, I just like to just hear what's going on in the world so I can be able to see what's going on in other people's perspectives. And pretty much this is what the social media is. It's like a whole world of other people's perspectives about things. But the thing about it is people think that their right is stronger than somebody else's right, type of thing. Compared to having a collective conversation in which you get to understand other people's rights. So,
and is there space in there to agree to disagree or to like allow the person to not get it?
Yeah, and that's what I had to work to before, because I wasn't there before, in which I'm like, okay, this is how I see it. Oh, you see it this way? Oh, yeah, you don't get it. It's like, oh, this person's so low vibrational type of thing. And even stepping into the stuff when people are talking about politics and news and stuff going on and stuff that is popular out there in the social community, I'm like, oh, I don't want to engage in that because it's going to lower my vibration and type of things like that. And that brings me back to what I was saying before earlier of that saying is like, oh, this external things that are happening, or these external people, whatever way they're being, I'm giving them permission to affect me internally. Compared to like how I am internally is how I am internally. Nothing else is going to be able to deter that, because how I am internally is how I'm internally. And here's the kicker: how I am internally unconditionally is the way I'm going to be. Unconditionally means under any conditions, I choose to be how I am, no matter what is happening. And I may slip or something, but I just remember that thing that I said to myself, and I go back there. And it reminds me of a book. I mentioned it yesterday of Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul, of him making the choice of just keeping his heart open. And keeping his heart open, things start to happen, and things start to happen not even internally but externally. So like, oh, you keep your heart open? Cool. I'm going to throw these things at you, these obstacles and things like that. And that's what has been happening. And it's been allowing me to go deeper into this awareness, deeper into my heart, but also it's allowed me to be me unapologetically. So if I want to talk about this one thing or talk about this other thing, I can totally talk about these things. I have the freedom to be how I am, and I have the freedom to do what I want to do, because to me, spirituality is my own experience. There's teachers, wonderful teachers out there. There's abundance of teachings. If I want to learn more about something from a teacher or something like that, I can do that. But also I'm my own teacher, and the best teacher for me is me. But these other people can help guide you to go back in within. And for me, I feel like the most profound teachers out there are the ones who helps direct you within yourself to find those answers for you, for yourself, and to also be able to integrate those experiences for you. Not the ones saying like, you need to do it this way, you need to be with me, you gotta be with me for this amount of time, you gotta continue to be with me. Without me, there's nothing possible. No, it's totally possible for you to be able to get the experience, the knowledge and stuff by going within yourself. But what happens is people could be a great tool to help teach you. But when you're present in a moment, all the teachers are in front of you anyway to expand you.
Mm-hmm. Says love you both. I mean us. I was just saying the same thing yesterday. Yeah, we were saying the same thing. Thank you so much. Ourselves.
I think we should say relationship thing for a relationship show one day.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
This was a great conversation. We got an hour. I just got to call and get my car. So yeah.
Thank you for being here, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you for
With that
being
note,
a friend.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On that note,
Stay magical.